When we talk about success stories in K-pop and K-drama, we often hear about the glory, the awards, the screaming fans. But the path to the top is rarely a clean one. For every shining moment, there's a shadow of sacrifice, a whisper of scandal, and a battle fought far from the spotlight. This isn't just the story of Lee Junho, the respected actor. This is the story of the pain, the prejudice, and the quiet controversies that almost broke him long before he ever held a trophy. It all started not with a dream, but with a desperate, grueling fight for survival. At just 16, he entered an arena with 6,000 other hopefuls, a reality competition where only one would win a trainee spot. The industry was already setting the stage for its first controversy. Was this system, which pitted teenagers against each other in a brutal public spectacle, building artists or breaking them? Junho won, but the victory came with a price, an entry into a machine that demanded perfection at any cost. Debuting with 2 p.m., he was part of the Beast Idol era, an image that celebrated raw power and intense performances. But behind the powerful choreography and magnetic stage presence, a much darker story was unfolding, one the agency kept tightly under wraps. Rumors began to swirl about the physical toll on the members, but for Junho, it was more than just rumors. It was a silent, painful crisis. He would later shock fans by revealing the horrifying extent of his injuries: a completely torn shoulder, a fractured spine, damaged discs to the point he could barely move. The most shocking revelation was the moment he heard a sharp crack in his neck and collapsed. This sparked a fierce debate among netizens. Was this dedication, or was it a glaring indictment of an industry that pushed its stars to the brink of permanent disability? Fans were horrified, creating a firestorm online, demanding better care from JYP Entertainment. The controversy deepened when Junho admitted that despite doctors ordering him to rest and wear an abdominal binder, he performed at an overseas concert the very next day. This act of defiance wasn't seen as heroic by everyone. Critics questioned the culture of pushing through the pain, wondering what kind of system made a young man risk his long-term health for a single performance. While his body was breaking down, another, more insidious battle was raging internally. In an industry obsessed with visuals, Junho was fighting a lifelong war against his own self-esteem. He confessed to being brutally teased in high school for his looks, with classmates outright calling him ugly, especially when he was unfavorably compared to the legendary Rain. These weren't just childhood memories. They were wounds that shaped his entire early career. Even as 2 p.m. soared to the top, he admitted to feeling a profound loneliness. And here lies one of the most talked about silent controversies of his early years: the internal politics of casting and favoritism. As other members like Taecyeon and Woo Young began landing coveted acting roles in dramas like Dream High, Junho, who had always dreamed of acting, was left behind in the dorm, his dreams seemingly out of reach. Online forums and fan communities were rife with speculation. Was he being sidelined? Was he not considered leading man material by the agency or by external casting directors? This period became a focal point for fan wars, with his supporters arguing that the most talented members weren't getting the opportunities they deserved, a quiet scandal of wasted potential playing out behind the scenes. His desperation to prove his worth arguably led him to take even greater physical risks. He threw himself into dangerous acrobatics and stunts, the very things that led to his most severe injury. Lying in a hospital bed, wondering if his career was over, he faced his lowest point. The industry, which had built him up, seemed ready to discard him. But in a twist of fate, his greatest crisis became his secret weapon. While still swollen and bandaged, he auditioned for the film Cold Eyes. This was his ultimate gamble. Walking into that room, he was no longer the polished idol. He was a man with nothing to lose. And that raw, desperate energy is what reportedly blew the directors away. His first role was born not from a pristine talent search, but from the ashes of a near-career-ending disaster. This began the long, arduous battle against the idol actor prejudice. For years, every role he landed was met with a wave of skepticism. Casting announcements would be flooded with comments doubting his ability, with netizens dismissing him as just another idol trying to act there for fame rather than craft. The entire industry was stacked against him. Veteran actors openly admitted their prejudice, a sentiment famously echoed by Namgung Min, who said he was initially skeptical of Junho on the set of Good Manager. This public admission, while later turned to praise, highlighted the immense barrier Junho faced. Every step forward was a fight against a preconceived notion. His choice to take on the lead role in Just Between Lovers was another risk. The melodrama genre was crowded, and his intense method acting, losing a drastic amount of weight and isolating himself on set, was seen by some as an extreme, almost concerning attempt to be taken seriously. The controversy was no longer about scandals, but about the very legitimacy of his craft. Then came the role that would redefine everything and ignite the final, most prestigious controversy, the red sleeve. When he was cast as the crown prince, the backlash was immediate and fierce. Online communities were flooded with posts questioning the casting choice. Could an idol really embody such a complex historical figure, they asked. The pressure was immense, but his performance did more than just silence critics. It created a new kind of uproar, a cultural phenomenon so powerful it forced the industry to reconsider its biases. And the ultimate shockwave came at the 2022 Baeksang Arts Awards. When Lee Jun-ho's name was called for Best Actor, it wasn't just a win, it was a seismic event. The controversy here was the shattering of a glass ceiling. Forum sites like Pan and Instaz exploded. Many celebrated it as a historic moment for all idol actors, while a vocal minority of purists argued that a prestigious award like the Baeksang had been devalued, sparking heated online debates about art versus popularity. His tearful speech felt like a vindication for every slight, every injury, every moment of doubt he had ever endured. So, what comes after you've conquered the summit? The controversy for Lee Jun-ho now is the weight of expectation. With his recent projects like the globally successful King the Land, some critics whisper that he's playing it safe, choosing commercial success over artistic challenge. His current drama, Typhoon Company, places him back in a complex narrative, but the question lingers: can he ever escape the shadow of his own legendary comeback? His entire journey is a case study in the dark side of the Korean entertainment industry, the physical toll, the psychological warfare of public opinion, and the brutal climb to earn respect. The real unresolved controversy is whether the system that created Lee Jun-ho has truly changed, or if he remains a rare exception in a world still quick to judge and slow to forgive. His story isn't over, and the next chapter will be his most scrutinized yet.